Well, everybody, here's the reaction video, and I'm actually playing this on the new radio station also. So we are live on YouTube and we are live on Total Radio. And we lost today. So everyone that watched my preview video and seen my prediction of 21-17, I was way off. The Cleveland Browns have a lot of problems in today's game. And in my opinion, it starts with the wide receiver position. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So right from the get-go, I seen that the offense started out pretty decent. And then they punted. But they started with that slant. They brought in Njoku and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and get him involved. We're short at wide receiver, and then it went away. I'm not sure why we didn't continue doing that, but we did. It was something that we should have kept going, and I honestly don't believe we got the run involved enough. I think we should have been doing a lot better at the run at the beginning of the game. Even if we were down 2 touchdowns in the first half, we should have still pounded that rock and kept the ball out of LA's hands. And if I say San Diego, I'm still used to saying San Diego, but we should have kept the ball out of LA's hands. And we didn't do that. We're going to have to look at this the way it is. Phillips Rivers is a veteran. He knows how to read defenses. He knows how to break them down. Our defense is young. We do kind of show our blitz a lot, and that's something that we need to take care of. And Garrett shows his blitz a lot, and they use that against him today. I think Philip Rivers and Gordon used everything that the Browns did on defense against them. Everyone's going to say that the calls are the reason we lost. Guys, the false start for the touchdown, what was it, the second touchdown? It doesn't matter. That's not why we lost. We were outplayed today. Baker Mayfield was outplayed. The wide receivers were outplayed, but it was a domino effect. It started with this, and it started domino effect, and ended with Baker Mayfield and the defense. Right off the bat, I seen the first drive from San Diego. The defense was non-existent. There was no pressure. They were not covering. They were doing the stupid zone thing. I think we have corners that can cover one-on-one, and we didn't do it. I mean, they walked all over us. Our rush defense is not as good as even I thought. It's not good. We need to fix this. Even though it was Gordon, they did whatever they wanted. To tell you the truth, we're lucky that it was only 38 points and it wasn't in the 50s. They could have put more on us, and they didn't. We did have that nice short stretch of the defense, playing pretty decent. But I felt we mixed it up there a little bit and hit our blitzes, and then we went away from it again. I'm not sure why. Garrett was non-existent for a reason. He's too quick, and he doesn't have the patience yet because he's young to see that, hey, they're gonna do a toss to the left, or whatever. It's gonna be a 3-step drop instead of a 7. He's too quick, and they knew that, and they allowed his quickness to actually hurt him today. I'm hoping that's not for things to come, but we're going to have to look at that. Hugh Jackson and company is going to have to look at that and say, hey, guess what? We're going to have to, coach you do this and coach you do that, because he's unblockable. He has the power to go through the guy or around the guy. So we're going to have to look at that. Callaway shouldn't be playing. I think we can sign some people that would do better. He did have that really nice catch for the 2-point conversion. He held on to it. Go figure. That ball was rifled, and he caught it out of midair. It wasn't laid down over the left shoulder or anything like that. It was a very tough catch, and he caught it. And I'm like, what's that all about? You can't lay out for a ball that should have been a touchdown. You had your guy beat, and the ball was right there, and he didn't catch it. But he caught that one for 2 points. It really didn't matter at the time, so it was what it was. Njoku was non-existent except for a couple plays. I think we should have leaned on the tight ends. the announcers kept saying, "Hey, guess what? I don't know why we're not running on them. I don't know why they're not running on them, the linebackers." Well, when the linebackers are hurt, you use that. And I don't think the run was the way to go, even though I think we should have ran more. I think Njoku should have got involved more over that middle, use his size to beat down the few linebackers they had, and then use the run to complement that. Um, I don't know where the game plan for this game came from. I don't know why Nick Chubbs isn't getting in there. I don't know what's going on. Hyde actually ran hard and he had a couple called back. But then at the end of the game, we had the throw. But at the same time, I don't even have the stats in front of me, guys. I was so disappointed in this game. At the same time, we weren't running enough in the first half. You got to get them backs into a rhythm. I mean, I Twitter a little bit with Eric Metcalf and Ernest Biner, and they'll tell you the same thing. Getting 6 carries and 8 carries isn't enough sometimes, because we all know you get them 2 yards and 2 yards, and you break out of 15, and you get a 2 yard and a 2 yard, and you'll break out of 8, and that's how it goes. And you beat down that defensive line, and you beat down them linebackers. And with a 3-headed monster that we have, we should be doing that. Unless you took Johnson and put him in the slot like he should be, because we're so short on wide receiver. I mean, I'm not a head coach, guys. I'm not even going to act like I am. But guess I honestly don't know what Hugh Jackson and Haley are thinking, not using Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson, with the ball in his hand, is a very dangerous person. He's probably one of our best playmakers. I would even go on to say he's a better playmaker than Landry. Landry is great at catching a ball before he got here, but now he's having drops too. He's having issues. And I honestly think it's the Baker's ball. I don't know. And it's not Baker doing bad. I think that he throws it different than Landry's used to and these other people are used to. The rotation's different. The velocity's different. And the timing's different. Like I say, every single week, the ball's there and they look and they're looking for it and it's already there. It's just, you've got to have trust in that quarterback to place it. And we've seen that. I forget the rookie's name now. Caught it late in the game. It was just there. It was a perfectly thrown ball. Basically, he just had to put out his hands and it fell there. And I see that a lot with Baker Mayfield's throws that are dropped. I know there was a few thrown high, but Landry's showing off in practices, catching with one hand and catching with one hand over here and doing this over here. I would rather him catch the balls in the game than show off in a practice. That's just me. Nothing against Landry. I think he's an excellent person on our team, but it's getting old, these drops, and it's what's going to kill a rookie quarterback. I mean, these drops are ridiculous because Baker Mayfield's putting it where it can be caught by the wide receiver. I don't understand that. Callaway, I think I'm not totally sure what to do with the kid. He has a trouble off the field, but I guess he's been okay off the field for us other than that one incident. But when you're a wide receiver, you got to catch the ball, and it's not even 50-50 when you throw it to him. I'm saying it's like 30% chance he's going to catch the ball. I think he's playing because we just don't have anybody. That's honestly what I think. And there's a lot of people on Twitter and on Facebook that's slamming Hyde. I think Hyde ran really hard. And I'm going to go back to it. Chubb needs to go in because he's a better back, not because Hyde is terrible, but I think Chubb offers us a better opportunity to win. So if we get Chubbs in there and say, hey, you're going to start and Hyde's going to be our guy to back you up, I think we'll get a better production out of our running game, because everyone's like, oh, you're one of the best running teams in the league. That was in the first few weeks when we had Taylor running the ball too. He was our leading rusher. I think it's a little bit bloated there. Yes, Hyde's getting 60, 80 yards and stuff like that. And we're the leading rushing team because we have 2 backs, 3 backs getting a few yards. Chubb's had them 100-yard game. I think it's a little bloated from what it is. Just like I think the defense is better than they played today, and the defense is better than the numbers they show. I think our rushing offense is a little more bloated than it is in a passing league. Not many team is running it, and we don't. We have a rookie quarterback, and we throw 65% of the time, no matter what. So it is what it is. And to show you where Duke could be a receiver is when he was out of that in the backfield lined up, he was forgotten about. But he had that big 30, 32-yard catch, and then we forgot about him again. I don't understand what's going on with this team. We're so shorthanded in wide receivers, but we have so much talent at the running back spot that one of them can catch the ball. Why aren't we moving them over to that slot receiver at least, or line them up as X? Because we started seeing that later in the game. He was lining up at the top of the screen. He was lining up on that left side. And the matchup wasn't the best, but at least he was in there. I think that moving Johnson to a receiver spot, something like Eric Metcalf was when he went to Atlanta. If people remember, Eric Metcalf went to Atlanta and made the Pro Bowl as a wide receiver. So I mean, he had 1,000 receiving yards, or 1,100 receiving yards, if I remember correctly. Duke Johnson reminds me of that. He don't have the burner speed, but he's just elusive enough that in the open field he can't be caught. So I think we're misusing Duke. We signed him long term, and now he's non-existent. And Nick Chubb's being on the bench, I don't understand that. I don't get it. When the game was out of hand, I don't think we were going to come back. Why didn't we put Chubbs in there and say, hey, we're just going to run our offense? We're just going to start running our offense instead of going in this hurry up. The game's gone. There's 8-9 minutes left in the game. Let's just go back to our basic offense and see what we can do. We didn't do that. They just kept going and throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. And I think Baker ended up with 2 INTs. That one was pretty ugly. Anyways, the only bright spot in the whole game and this is what we're used to, is the punter. The punter, he places the ball in a really good spot. He has a knack for when he has a short yardage, he can put it inside that 15, 10-yard line. It was something I liked. I like our punter. Our coverage team was a little bit better. And I'm going to go against everyone I'm reading on Twitter and Facebook and on the forums. Peppers is stepping up since his little incident saying that we're wishy-washy. The man has stepped up. His return game's gotten better. His tackling's gotten better. He's all over the field. I'm going to say Peppers is a really good bright spot. This is the Peppers that we drafted. And if he keeps this up, we don't have to look for that strong safety. If he grows into this position, we don't have to look for a strong safety. I think we're just a cornerback and some defensive linemen away from having that defense that's going to be awesome. And the reason I say defensive line, we have to stop the run, guys. If we don't, what's going to happen is that they're going to get a big lead on us real quick and then just run out the clock. We should have been that. We have a great defense that was stopping Phillips Rivers there for a while. We should have been able to run down their throat with the linebackers that they have. I mean, we should have been running down their throat, keeping it out of their hands. But we did kind of, I guess, because we had time of possession was like 20 minutes to 9 minutes at one point. But we should have been running it down their throat and continuously doing it. When we were in scoring position, we should have been running it. Another part that I think we should have run is when we went for it on 4th down later in the game, we knew we were going to go for it on 4th down, and we still passed it on 3rd down with 2 yards to go. I don't understand that. I would put Chubbs and I'd put Hyde back there and say, which one am I going to give it to? Let them guess. I guarantee Hyde is a hard runner. He'll get you them 2 yards. I'm confused by the play calling today. I'm confused by what we've seen. The refs have been making some bad calls too. The missed false start. I still can't believe that we've seen a missed false start. If you watch the tape, that tackle was sitting right there in front of a ref. So your guess is as good as mine, because I actually didn't do a reaction video and I didn't do the show right afterwards because I wanted to go back and look at some things. I wanted to go back and see what Baker Mayfield was holding the ball for. I wanted to see that injury and how he was limping. I just wanted to see how that was before I said something that was wrong. So I want to talk about that injury a little bit. I think that injury was actually something that some people were going to blow up a little more than it needed to be blown up. He tweaked his ankle. He did, but he fought right through it. I don't think it affected his gameplay. I don't think it affected anything because when it came time to snap the ball, he wasn't favoring it. By the end of the game, I don't think he was favoring it when he's walking at all. So maybe it got numb, maybe it didn't. I'm not totally sure. We already talked about Peppers being a different player. I think people need to give him his credit. He has stepped up. The defense played weak today. The defense got torn apart by a veteran quarterback and Gordon, and we struggle against running backs that can catch the ball, and today we struggled. They knew it. They knew our weakness, and they attacked it. Why didn't Williams make an adjustment? I don't know. They were running on both sides of our tackles. Our ends. I'm sorry, on both sides of our tackles all day. They were going after Garrett like there was no tomorrow. And I don't think that's going to continue. Garrett's going to fix his game. Garrett's going to see this and he's going to learn from it. He's an animal. He's unblockable. But today the quickness was against him. So I'm hoping that changes next week against Tampa Bay, which during the preview, I already got some stuff. I am recording the Tampa Bay game so I can look over that, or I recorded. So I want to watch that game too. Let's see. The wide receivers, that was the reason we were getting the sacks. Let's just be honest. They weren't getting open. There's wide receivers on our team right now taking snaps that weren't even playing football other than on the practice squads or, whatever. They weren't playing everyday football. So then we lost Streeter, which he wasn't even on our team at the beginning of the year either. So it's going to happen. When you take these third, fourth, and fifth string wide receivers and put them up against a starting defense, a decent defense, they're not going to get open. And San Diego knew it. They played man. They said, screw it. We're going to play man and we're going to shut down Landry. And they had nobody. This is where Njoku should have came in. Njoku should have been all over that field, over that middle, to give them that 8-yard dump and got 8 to 12 yards with that pass over and over. He should have had 12 to 15 catches today. That's what you do to this, is run the ball, throw to your tight end when you're struggling with that wide receiver. We didn't do it. The defense has to learn how to tackle. We all know that. They're not wrapping up people. That's something else I seen in the second quarter going into the third quarter. They're hitting with their shoulder instead of wrapping up. It reminds me about 2 years ago during our 1-15 season. They were doing that a lot. They were just hitting with their shoulder instead of wrapping up the person. I don't even know what else. The rest of the game was this up and down. I think they gave up. I think the 2 drops, can't even call them drops. They didn't even really touch the ball by our rookies. Got in Baker's head a little bit, got in the offensive head saying, hey, that should have been a touchdown. It should have been. If that was, I hate to say this, anybody else, anyone, even people we traded, them would have been touchdowns. Callaway has the speed. He runs good routes. He doesn't have the hands, and I don't know if that's what he had in college. Callaway's an issue. He's more of a liability for being on the field. And what's going to happen is I don't care how resilient Baker Mayfield is. Eventually, he's going to stop looking Callaway's way. So if you got Callaway and Landry in there, it doesn't matter. He's not going to look at Callaway. He's not going to look at it at all. So he's going to be looking at Johnson or Hyde and Landry. And whatever Callaway's doing, he could be wide open. He's not going to be seen. He's not going to want to throw it his way because there's no chance. He doesn't like that. And Baker Mayfield's ball's being thrown beautiful. I know he had some wobblers today, but I think that one was tipped. And I think that it was frustrating. I think he was getting frustrated today. But today's issue was our defensive line and our wide receivers, period. Our defensive line didn't even – I think we had one sack. We weren't putting pressure on Phillip Rivers. And I know some people are going to say that Phillip Rivers thrives on pressure. But if the quarterback's on his back, he can't throw the ball. So I don't know what we're going to do next week. Tampa Bay is a hit and miss team. I kind of want to say we're a hit and miss team because we are playing to We played Baltimore. We played elite defense. Our offense struggled. We play Oakland, and we're awesome at offense, and our defense struggled. Now today, both sides of the ball struggled, and we had field position, guys. We should have won this game. We got outplayed. The Cleveland Browns got outplayed. This is the first game this season that we should have lost. This is a game that we didn't even have any business in winning. We just got outplayed. We could not guard anybody. Gordon, lucky, didn't rack up 200 yards against us. I mean, literally, the man was amazing today. I'll go and check what his stats were, because usually you guys know I have the stats sitting in front of me, but I didn't write down the stats today at all. And people look at me on YouTube. I got my mixer up in front of me for the station, and I got my phone in front of me, so I don't look at the camera as much. I'm sorry about that. I will be setting that up. I do have different cameras and different servers here that will give us different angles of the office I'm in. So you guys, if you guys want to switch around and whatever, because this show will be live on YouTube at all times also. But anyways, the Cleveland Browns weren't that good today, but some of the stats are kind of like, just to give you an example, Phillip Rivers only had 207 yards passing. Baker Mayfield had 238. Baker Mayfield was under 50% completion percentage. That's unlike him. He had them 2 INTs. He had 5 sacks. Phillip Rivers was only 11 of 20, so just a little over 50%. And 2 of them were 100 yards. So, or was it 90? I'm sorry, not 100, but 90 yards. 2 of the passes were 90 yards. So let's take 90 yards off there too. So he was 9 for 18 at 50% for basically 110 yards. Phillip Rivers didn't beat us with his arm. We got beat by Gordon. We got beat by our defense allowing Gordon to run all over us, and then we got beat because our offense wasn't there. The turnovers hurt us, of course, but we let what was it? There's over 200 yards rushing against us. Our rush, it wasn't Phillip Rivers that beat us. It wasn't. He audibled out, seeing that we could be ran against, and that's what it was. Our rusher, Duke Johnson, was our leading rusher with 2 carries for 36 yards. Chubb was 3 carries for 25 yards. Hyde was 14 carries for 34 yards. Guys, I'm not, and I didn't even know that until I just seen it. I didn't know that. So you're seeing the reaction from me right now on YouTube. Hyde is not our starter. Johnson's not our starter. It should be Chubb. Chubb's just, he's a different back, guys. I'm telling you, if he got the ball 15 to 20 times, he will show that he's our running back. He will show it. I just know it. I mean, just the man, just when he gets the opportunity, he makes it happen. He just makes it happen. I mean, he averaged 8.3. Duke Johnson. Ratley was our leading receiver, the rookie. Now, he did have that one big drop. I think he picked up some stuff at garbage time. He had 82 yards. But here's the thing I don't get. Why isn't Duke Johnson being targeted more? 4 catches, 73 yards. 4 catches, 73 yards. Njoku had 7 receptions for 55. Like I told you, he should have 12 to 15 receptions this game. It was a game built for the tight end. It was. He had that touchdown. Landry was non-existent with 2 receptions for 11 yards. I think that was his lowest reception total for, I think, this year. Let's see the other big things that we had. Oh, I want to talk about Joseph's kicks. They looked a little bit better today, but on kick returns, I want to give Peppers a little bit of credit. Peppers averaged 23 yards returns, and Hillard had 1 for 31. Callaway 1 for 18. Like I said, I think Callaway needs to be benched. I just do. Randall had a good game of 8 tackles, but when your strong or free safeties leading your team in tackles, something's wrong. In my opinion, guys, we lost this game on the defensive line. We lost this game in the wide receivers. Our offense, I can't even talk today. Our offensive line did a decent job. I know some people are going to get upset about me saying that, but the sacks were coverage. When Baker Mayfield has a window of inches and he's not throwing the ball, he's not scared to throw the ball. We all know this. And when he started throwing the ball in them little small windows of inch or 2 inch, he got 2 INTs. I don't know what to say about the game other than it was an ugly game. We should not have won no matter what. It shouldn't be something that we go back like, oh my God, the refs did this, or oh my God, we did this. The Cleveland Browns played themselves out of this game. They didn't match up with San Diego at all. San Diego came in with a better game plan than the Cleveland Browns did. San Diego went after our weaknesses. They knew we were weak at wide receiver. They played man, took Landry out of the game, and then went after Baker. We should have known that San Diego had a weak spot in linebacker. We should have attacked that. We didn't. And you can attack linebacker, I don't know what the announcer was saying, with the rush and the pass. We should have been lining up double tight ends, attacking that and attacking that. And if we didn't have double tight ends, have the tight end and then Johnson line up as slot. Them linebackers by the third quarter would have been all just tired out. It would have happened. They didn't have the rotation they should have. And as you see, the game plan was just better by San Diego. Our game plan wasn't there. Was it Hugh Jackson? Was it Haley? Was it Williams? Because all of them should be held accountable for this loss. The game plan wasn't there. And I didn't see any adjustments when they came out at halftime. I didn't see anything that was like, oh, wow, they might start doing this. They did not adjust. I mean, Baker Mayfield threw for 40 times again. I know we are coming from behind, but when you're in the second quarter and you're down 2 scores, it doesn't matter. Don't leave your game plan unless it's not working, and their game plan wasn't working, but all they did was pass the whole damn time. I mean, you're supposed to be leading and rushing, and the Chargers aren't good against the rush, and we didn't pound it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm disappointed in our coaching staff. If you guys don't know, I don't like Hugh Jackson as it is anyway. I used to be a strong supporter of him. It doesn't matter. I like Williams. I think that he's on the right track, but he didn't have his team playing right, and he didn't make the adjustments properly today. I honestly think that he should have made a lot of adjustments, seeing that Garrett was overstepping. They were using his quickness, and they should have seen that. They should have had a plan for it. They didn't. The injuries we had today is devastating. I don't even know where to go from here. The Schobert injury, I know that some people think that he's not strong, but he's been an Iron Man for us. He's the voice on the field. He calls the plays. He audibles the defense. It's going to be a huge loss to us. It's going to be a huge loss. I think Randall needs to step up and take over that spot because I don't see a linebacker. I'm not a Collins fan. I think Collins doesn't, I believe a leader on the field should lead as doing, not just talking. They should do it. And Collins just doesn't, he's either there or he's not. He reminds me of Mingo. Mingo would have a great game and then he wouldn't be seen for 3. So the next thing I want to talk about right before we get off this and end this, I know it's going to be a little bit longer now because I actually had a lot to talk about today, is what should we do about the wide receiver spot? In my opinion, and what I think we should turn to the younger players and look, do we need to bring in a Dez Bryant? I'm not totally sure. And in my opinion, I say no. I know that Cooper is rumored to be up for a trade. It matters what they're asking for him. I think he's a tremendous talent. So if they're asking for like a first round and that's it, I say we go after it. I think that we would, if we can lock him up and he plays well, it would work out. Landry and Cooper would be great. I don't think Callaway's the answer. He's just, it looks like he's getting worse. I'm not sure. And just to let you guys know, I am working on getting phone lines for the studio, and we're going to go ahead and have it where you guys can call in and you guys can talk, because this radio station is broadcasted worldwide. Um, and I'm working on building it. It's a thing. It's a project. I do have some DJs and some hosts that are going to be doing some different things, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. So if you want to talk on the radio, you can give a call in as soon as I get them lines up. Uh, the I don't know what to do at wide receiver other than get the young guys and work with them. Other than Cooper, it kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit, saying, "Hey, Cooper might be a good spot, but I don't understand why Gruden would get rid of him. I don't get it. Gruden got rid of Mack, and I don't get it. And now Carr might be injured. Who knows? They might be looking for a QB, and maybe, but I hate to get rid of Taylor, and everyone sits there and says Taylor's trade bait. He's not. He's so great for Baker. Him and Baker are getting along. I'm almost at certain to sign Taylor as a long term just to keep him around for Baker and have that team, because Taylor is a team guy. He's not a me guy. He is a team guy. He's almost like McCown. McCown was a team guy. Look what he's doing at the Jets. He sat and says, "Yep, I'll help Darnold no matter what," and that's what Taylor's doing. So I don't know, guys. I'm not sure what to do with the wide receiver spot. I do know that we need to get some tackles. Oh my God. And I don't know why we're not running up the middle when we're third and short. Our guards are some of the highest paid guards in the league, and our center is supposed to be a strong point, and we don't run up, except send Baker Mayfield after he sprained his ankle. That bothered me. I love the call, but I hated the call when it happened. He just twisted his ankle, and you send your quarterback up the middle on a quarterback sneak. But Baker's a beast and did it and got up and says, "Hey, let's go. Let's keep going." And another thing I don't understand about Haley is Baker Mayfield seems to do better with a no huddle or a hurry up offense. He seems to be able to do a lot better with it. And Baker Mayfield reads defenses pretty decent, and he's starting to get it down pretty good. So I'm not sure why we're not running that more, especially against a high-powered offense, something like San Diego. And when San Diego took that jump on our lead, why we didn't say, "Okay, Baker, we're going to go ahead and run a hurry-up offense." The only reason I can say we didn't is because we're short at wide receiver. We couldn't rotate wide receivers in and out. And wide receivers run them routes no matter what. If they get the ball or not, they're running 50 yards, 50 yards, 50 yards. So that could be the reason why we didn't see the hurry up offenses, because we didn't have them wide receivers to rotate in and out. But I do see that Baker Mayfield runs better in the no huddle, and he takes charge of the team. I think they're going to bounce back fine. It's not a panic mode. Everyone on Twitter is saying, "Oh, it's panic mode. We got to do this. We got to do this. Oh my God, we got to sign this person. We got to go get this person." It was a bad game. Everyone has a bad game. We were young. We didn't think we would be where we're at right now. We're 2-3-1. We're undefeated in the North still. We kind of still hold our own, what we could do. If we take care of business in the North, we could still take care of business. That would be, we got to beat Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. I say we have to beat them, no ties. We have to go into Heinz Field, and we got to beat them. And next week is a must win if we want to stay relevant in the North. We can't go into the Pittsburgh game at 2-4-1 and have and think we have a chance at the North. I think we need to go ahead and beat the Steelers, and we have to beat Tampa Bay. So we'll have the same we'll have one better win than the Steelers, because Steelers bye week is next week. We have to continue winning in the North, and that's going to be a ticket. If we want to be competitive in the North, we got to beat the North, and I think it plays for next season. I think next season is going to be our blossoming season. Can we compete for a wild card spot? I think we'll be in the talk. I think we'll be that team that's like a game out to 3 games out around that time of talk. And it matters how healthy we are, because we're not a team that can take 2 hits at a position and still just keep grinding. As you see at the wide receiver position, we took a couple hits and we're hurting. We don't have the depth other people have. And that's why we have so much salary cap space. We do have a star in Landry. We do have a star in Baker Mayfield. We do have a decent, I don't like our tackles on offense, but we do have two nice guards, and we do have a center that's pretty decent. But past that, we don't have anything, except for our three-headed monster at wide running back. I don't understand what Haley's doing. I don't know if it's Hugh Jackson holding them back or Haley saying, no, we're going to go with I don't know what's going on there. I don't want to pretend I do. I would love to get Hugh Jackson on here and talk to him and say, hey, look, I'll ask him the hard questions. I don't care. I'll look right at him and say, hey, look, why aren't you playing Duke? Or why aren't you playing Chubb? What's going on? I'll ask him. I'll throw him and say, hey, look, this is what you're giving the fans. This is what you guys are producing on the field. So why aren't you changing it up? So maybe one day I'll be that big and I'll be able to get the coach on, but I don't think it's ever going to happen now. I don't mind asking them questions. I don't mind if we got Haley on, I would ask him too. I wish I was in them press conferences and I could ask him some of these questions and then say, hey, why, just point blank, why is Chubb not in there? What's going on? Chubb should be in there. So I think that no matter what we did, we were going to lose this game. If Chubb was in there, we were going to lose this game. Unless I think we would have been better off if we had our wide receiver corps that was there. If we would have had Higgins and Streeter not hurt, and I think we'd have had a better chance because Higgins was really getting that connection with Baker Mayfield. So I'm hoping he heals fast. But as we know, it's a strained knee that could take some time. So, I mean, we lost guys, but it's not the end of the world. It's 2-3-1. Who would have thought we would have been here anyway? Who would have thought that Baker Mayfield had been leading the way right now? We've been relevant. Teams still don't want to play us. We just did not come here with a good game plan, and that's my honest opinion. I think our defense failed because of the game plan. I think our offense failed because of the game plan and us not having wide receivers. And we had a game plan to use wide receivers. We have a beast of a a tight end. I don't know why we're not using them more. So, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. And just real quick, if you guys want to keep listening and hearing past episodes on the radio show, the domain to the radio show is thetotalradio.com. I'm building it more tonight. I literally just started a radio station a week ago, and I'm building the sites personally. Uncagedog.com will be going up in the next day or two, and that will have all these podcasts on it. I will be uploading every one. I record these as they go out live. So all you got to do is go to the uncagedog.com or thetotalradio.com in the next few days, and you'll see all the info, how to contact me, the email addresses, how to tweet us, all that good stuff, and I'll get your opinion out there. I do not look at the chats right now because I do got to look at the mixing board. I am working on getting a couple more PCs set up so I can look at chats of all the chat rooms. I can look at Twitter at the same time and all that good stuff. And I am working on getting the phone lines up. I would like to get 5 phone lines up so we can have, an interview here, an interview there. If we have it, an opportunity, and people call in and give your opinions, even if it's against mine. Give your opinion. If you say, Gary, we messed up because of refs, and give your opinion, we'll go ahead and get that out there. And hopefully this thing takes off. I used to do radio maybe about 8 years ago. I did it. I used to breed reptiles. So I did a reptile-based show, and I did interviews of other reptile breeders and stuff like that. And it was pretty fun. So, guys, this is just the start. I will have sound effects and jingles and this and that and everything else when you guys tune in the next few weeks. But every week you are going to hear a preview on Wednesday for the game coming up on Sunday. And then every Sunday, right after the game, you're going to hear a reaction show and a reaction video on YouTube. Sometimes it might be a few hours after the show. I wanted to collect my thoughts, but it is what it is, guys. We lost. It's time to move on. Let's not talk about it anymore. It's on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's in Tampa, so the travel's there. It's a good distance for the Browns. It's going to be warmer weather. I still think we should start Nick Chubb, and I think we should move Johnson to the slot receiver, and I think we should just go with it. I think Johnson's going to be a better slot receiver than anyone else we have on the team, and we can always use him as running back still. I think Johnson's our biggest playmaker on offense. He can do it all. He can run, he can catch. He's just an amazing talent, and we should be using him. Uh, I'm going to say this: he's better than Connor on Steelers. He's a lot better than Connor, and they're using Connor the right way. We should be using Johnson the same way. We should be using Johnson to catch some balls, and he's shown today that with the little bit that he did get, he made something of it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and it doesn't matter if you tune in on the totalradio.com or if you tune in on YouTube, our YouTube channel. We'll be here every Sunday and every Wednesday. All right, guys, I am out.